Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Game Day Eve! Welcome inside that Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Jerry, Georgie, and I'm Joey. Good to have you with us, everybody. We've got tons to talk about today because right after we get off the air, we're headed to the airport with the Oregon football team, headed down to Sin City. The word is Jerry's flying the plane, Georgie.
Oh, boy.
I thought when I said that, you guys would say, okay, we'll drive.
Really?
Do you think we would get there before you figured out how to land it?
I'd run out of gas before
You think so?
to land.
Hey, true story. Jerry is a pilot, and we've often said that the fact that he's on the plane means that we've got a backup pilot, but we don't have a pilot that could land, right?
No, these things are all computerized. They will take you all the way to the ground by turning a dial. I mean, believe me, it's the truth.
That's amazing. We got a lot to cover, though. 5 o'clock kickoff. Ducks, Huskies. It's the rematch that we've been waiting for. It's almost
time.
Here. Yeah, it's almost here. A little over 24 hours. Also in action tonight. Good luck to Duck volleyball at Matthew Knight Arena.
Yes.
Postseason for Matt Ulmer's squad. They're in action at 7 o'clock. Second game of the session. GoDucks.com for tickets and all the info. If the Ducks win tonight, they play the winner of the first game of tonight's session at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So here's hoping that Oregon football is up 35-0 at halftime. With that 5 o'clock kickoff, you just can go to Matthew Knight Arena, you pop a headphone in, you listen to Jerry and Georgie on the call, and they're celebrating in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, and then you can check out Oregon volleyball in the postseason in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament. Good plan?
I like it.
Just go watch the game and listen to us anyway, regardless of the score.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand people, though. You know, they're going to want to watch, and I get it. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm going to watch.
Through it.
You going to watch? I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
Well, watch
The game.
I'll
our
watch
game?
the game.
Our game.
Yeah. Oh, our game. Yeah.
I will watch the game. Also, everybody.
Where from?
Well, that's a good point.
That's a good question.
Yeah, really.
It is a throwback game, Oregon and Michigan, 12:30 tip-off on Saturday. Word on the street is, in addition to the throwback concessions, $2 soda, $2 a lot of stuff, John Sargent may or may not pop his head in here today, but word on the street is that if the Duck football team is successful on Friday, they would make an appearance in celebration at the men's basketball game on Saturday. Wow. So if you've been on the edge about going to men's basketball, even with the free Nike shirt that says Ducktown USA on it, yeah, free Nike shirt giveaway at the game on Saturday. The word on the street is that Dan Lanning and the team would celebrate.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, at Matthew Knight Arena.
Does that cup, when you put beverage in it, change color?
It doesn't.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But I do have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. The yellow one.
I've got a few of them.
Yeah, I just figured they might,
Yeah. So
That'd be pretty neat if it all of a sudden it just went from clear to green.
Good
wouldn't it?
cup, though. Look at the old Pepsi logo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The old bottle cap.
Yeah, the old bottle cap logo.
That's cool.
Yeah, so throwback game. There will be a lot of throwback activities with that free T-shirt giveaway. Tickets still available. Limited tickets, I understand, for tip-off against Michigan on Saturday. All right. It's the rematch we've been waiting for, and we were just talking before getting on the air here that certainly some things are a little different now for these two teams. I think Oregon has improved. I think Washington has won a lot of close games, and I think there's something to be said for that. The Huskies have played in a lot of close games.
Found a way.
They find a way. They know how to win those close games. Some of the metrics would tell you it's truly shocking that Washington went undefeated this year because they've lost the turnover battle. They've been outgained, and yet somehow they're winning games. We're going to talk with Tony Castricone, the voice of the Huskies, coming up. Get a little scouting report from behind enemy lines later on the show today as well. But, guys, I don't know. That's kind of my theme, is that every game's a little bit different, but certainly a rematch, it's one we've been waiting for.
Yeah, they say there's two camps. It's hard to beat a team twice, and then the other side is that if you got beat the first time, you're going to be the favorite the second time because you got more motivation. I mean, but really what it gets down to is for Oregon, Jorgie, to do what they've done all year, and that is play Oregon football. Don't beat yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you got to come out and just do what's gotten you here, and it's a combination of run, pass. I mean, Oregon's been very good at both all season long, and they've taken whatever the matchup is that the defense gives them and attack that weakness, whatever it might be. The last 2 weeks, Arizona State and Oregon State, the perceived weakness was there's Sarge coming in with stuff. I didn't think he would come in with anything. He's coming in with look at that.
He is wow.
Oh, okay.
Ready
I'm getting off. We're handing.
Oh, hot dog.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
The hot dogs.
I did not have lunch.
Look at that.
Oh,
yes. The shirt is great. The shirts are actually
Oh.
great. Here, Jerry's going to hold one up. Actually, Scott's got one for the
Okay,
front
there
of
you
the
go.
camera. Look at the shirts.
Oh, look at
Okay,
that.
so free T-shirt giveaway
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
the tip-off against Michigan on Saturday. So, again, word on the street is, and we'll talk a lot of football today, word on the street is that if the Ducks are successful against the Huskies, bring home a Pac-12 championship, they would celebrate during the game at Matthew Knight Arena on Saturday. That's after you've got a bunch of discounted concessions. Look at you wearing the shirt. John Sargent, head of concessions, with us.
Let's represent today.
Yeah.
We want to pack Matthew Knight Arena on Saturday.
It should be.
Should be.
It should be.
We have tickets left as low as $10.
All right.
Should be people out there buying those.
It's Michigan.
It is Michigan.
Come on.
We have some concession specials: $2 hot dog,
Popcorn.
$2 popcorn, $2 soda. You want to show the cup?
$2 soda.
There's the cup everybody
so
will get.
I've had the cup on the desk. We've been ready
Awesome.
to roll.
Awesome.
The cups
Perfect.
are
Oh, got a
great.
little lid with it, too.
Little
cups are
lid.
great.
There's some sodas there. You guys can pour into those.
Wow.
Man.
Everyone gets a T-shirt.
Everyone does get a
So
T-shirt.
it is going to be
thanks,
a
Scott. What a
great
guy.
day after a big win on Friday night.
So, okay, we were having this discussion earlier, so I'm going to throw this out to two historians of Oregon athletics. Ducktown, USA. Was that ever a thing previously?
Never heard of it.
So we're making it a thing, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
Rob and I were talking about this on Wednesday, and Rob was like, "Yeah, is that a thing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm deferring to you. Like, I guess it was a thing because it's throwback game, but Ducktown, USA, we're making it a thing."
That's what it looks like on the cup and the shirt.
Great.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm
good.
sure somebody has said it at some point in the past, but it was never a thing.
But so
Yep.
now we're pivoting from Tracktown to Ducktown. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah,
I mean, I
sure.
get it. Yeah, this is great. What else should fans know, Sarge? Anything? Just $2 discounted concessions. Gonna have a fun time.
It's going to be a busy day over there. I'm hoping we have 12,300 people there, and everybody has a good time.
Me too.
So you're telling me you have 12,300 hot dogs?
I have more than that.
Good, because I want 2, maybe 3.
Gosh,
Okay,
that's
perfect.
That's a great question. How many? How do you prepare concession-wise for all this? Like, what if it ends up being a game where you sell 20,000 hot dogs? I don't know if has that ever happened at Matthew Knight Arena?
It has not, and 20,000 would not work. At 20,000, we're going to run out, but we'll see what happens.
Challenge accepted, Duck fans. 20,000. That'd be a lot of hot dogs.
It is a lot of hot dogs.
It's a lot of hot dogs.
So how many days in advance do you start popping popcorn?
We started today,
Okay.
but a lot of it is for the volleyball tournament tonight.
Oh, that's
Volleyball
right.
tournament tomorrow. We'll be
right.
popping
Nice.
through, and then we'll be having the popcorn for the game on
Can't imagine. What's your
Saturday.
job? I pop popcorn.
Yes.
Oh, really? That's your job?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure you've been in Autzen when it smells like popcorn.
Yes.
When you've been at Matthew Knight when it smells like popcorn.
I
Yes.
remember being in the old Mac court when it smelled like burnt popcorn.
I remember that as well.
That's awesome.
wow.
Well, Sarge, thanks for having some fun with us.
Absolutely.
First
Thank
time
you.
that Sarge has come in on a road game day eve.
You saved me. I didn't have lunch today.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is my
He
lunch.
was ready.
There's
ready.
mustard, ketchup, and relish over there for you.
What a guy.
I did not bring
What?
you onions.
That's
Sorry.
That it's okay.
My stomach
Jorgie,
thanks you.
Jorgie appreciates it. You know,
Good.
he's got to sit next to him on the plane
Okay. When do you guys leave?
right after the show.
Okay.
Yeah, we get off the air and then race to the airport and hope they don't take off without us.
Awesome.
Yeah, you going down?
I am not. My wife left at 4 o'clock this morning.
Nice. So
So she's down.
the Sarges will be represented.
We are.
Good.
I've got volleyball, and basketball that I needed to take care of here.
I
so,
love it. I
Anyway,
love it. Thanks, Sarge.
Thank you. Go Ducks!
Go Ducks!
$2 concessions, throwback prices for the throwback game against Michigan. Tip-off, 12:30. Great shirts.
I love the Pepsi
thanks
logo,
for the shirts,
logo on
Sarge.
the back. See the big Pepsi logo on the back?
I dig that.
That's good stuff.
That's cool. Woo. So, what do you think? I mean, I have not worn a suit to a basketball game since the pandemic because Coach Altman stopped wearing suits to basketball games, so I felt like I could just go polo and quarter zip, Like that's kind of been the move of basketball. Do you think I can just wear this courtside?
Oh, I would.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. You can. Definitely.
I can just wear the shirt courtside and everybody will be good with that?
Should. I mean, everybody else, there could be a lot of people wearing them.
Yeah, I'd blend right in. Yeah, that's good.
And maybe people would see you wearing them and go, hey, why don't we put ours on too?
Yeah. Okay. This has been good. This has been good. Right. Now, I do want to get back to a little bit of football. Thanks, though, to John Sargent. It's a good reminder with the concessions. We really want to make that a fun environment at Matthew Knight Arena. So please, everybody, get your tickets. I mean, look, a $10 ticket gets you a $20 shirt.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. Back to a little bit of football, though. You were talking about the Huskies.
I was.
You were, yeah.
And the Ducks.
Distracted by popcorn.
I just doing what we do.
Do what you do. Yeah. Do what you do. I mean, just keep doing what you do from a standpoint of when you attack teams, rush-wise, pass-wise. I think when Oregon played Washington the first time, they did both well. And in Washington seems to give up yards in both of those. And so Oregon's balanced attack, the ability to be able to run the ball. Last couple of weeks, I'd like to be able to say run the ball. And they did at times, but they attacked the weakness of Oregon State, Arizona State, which was a secondary. So get the yards, get the win. That's really what it comes to.
How about in this one, it's the game within the game. And by that, I mean Oregon has already played Washington. They know each other from that game early in the season, but it was early season. Then they have a lot of film from then till now. Anything new, different, players are in or out. And now they have a little bit of prep time to show something that the other team is maybe not ready for. It's a chess match. It's really a chess match. Normally, you make this move, well, we make this move. You make that move, we make this move. But there are so many different scenarios where you can do things, and I can't wait for the game within the game. What coaching staff is going to have a lot to say about this.
I think one thing that it's good to note, too, is that there are different player availabilities, too. Like, I know a lot of people are wondering about Ducks that are banged up. Well, one thing that we do know is that Washington's defensive line got a little bit healthier last week, and also Jordan McMillan at the wide receiver position back. He did not play against the Ducks last time. I mean, teams look a little different at the end of the season.
No,
Look, I have said this more times than I can. I've probably said this almost as often as I've said I love a good punter. It's often, and more often than not, it is the healthiest and deepest team at the end of the year that wins. It's not always the best team. It's the healthiest and the deepest team. And we've talked so much this year about depth of Oregon's team, both offensively and defensively. I think that's a big key here.
Well, you can combine them. We're going to be a little bit biased here because we're Oregon.
You don't say.
Yeah, but Oregon is, I think, a very deep team. Maybe deeper with more guys that they can come off the bench with. Plus, I'm just going to say what we're hearing across the nation. Oregon is a better football team right now, better than most teams in the country, which is a huge respect because normally they're talking about the SEC or somebody in the Big Ten like Ohio State and Michigan. Now, they've been saying Oregon. Oregon is the most dangerous team you do not want to play right now. Put together with that depth, Jorgie, I just like where Oregon is. They have to play the game. It's going to be a great game, but I just love where Oregon is entering this huge game.
They've been consistent. That's the thing about it. I mean, that's the way I look at it is, the press can talk about, how many winning teams have you beat? How many teams that are in the top 35 have you beat? How many teams were in the top 25 when you played them that aren't any longer in the top 20? I mean, you can go all these different head-to-head scenarios, but one thing they've been consistent. They've been consistently good. And you talk about the health of the team. Well, the health is because of the depth, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. When you're only having to, when Bucky Irving hardly ever carries the ball 20 times a game, let alone touching it as a receiver and as a runner, of which he's equally dangerous, and you're able to put guys in there like Jordan James. I wish Whittington was available, but he's not. But look who has stepped up to the table. This team is deep. and it's healthy. It's playing very confident football right now on both sides of the ball. That's a good thing to be going into this game with. But, Joe, you talked about it. Jalen McMillan is a difference maker. He was a 1,000-yard receiver last year for Washington, along with Rome Odunze, who's done it again this year. So you got to have guys to cover. You got to have enough DBs to cover a lot of really good wide receivers. Washington, if they're doing their job, is going to look for matchups and look for the mismatches where they think it is. Take Rome Odunze outside, move him into the slot, and put him on a different type of player than he normally would face on the outside. It's going to be interesting, that chess match that takes place.
I said Jordan McMillan. I was thinking about Jordan James, and then you said Jalen McMillan. Thank you. I owe you one. Also, have I told you that you picked a nice quarter zip today?
Yeah, how about that?
That's like, man, that was good choice.
I'd love to get one of those.
Where'd you get that?
I think we got this last year, didn't we? Or 2 years ago?
Last year.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Jerry
I almost wore that. I know, I almost wore that.
One.
I very nearly wore
I'm wearing
mine.
it because it's warm.
Yeah.
When I get down there, I'm taking it off and putting green on. So.
That's right.
Oh, hey, by the way, one more thing. Neither team, Oregon or Washington, has any excuses.
That's
all
right.
Right.
No excuses. They're
right.
both ready to play.
Yeah.
And no excuses.
So, guys, just real quick before we go, biggest game potentially in Pac-12 history. I mean, not going back 40 or 50 years. Do you think?
So I was going to take a break and ask you that when we came back.
Okay.
Let's think about that.
Let's think about it.
By the way, our Pac-12 Championship preview brought to you by Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center. Your community hospital since 1955, caring for our community is what we do best. Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center is bringing you all of our postseason broadcasts. So one of our presenting sponsor for the postseason coming up, and it starts tomorrow, if you can believe it, thanks to Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center. When we come back, biggest Pac-12 game since...
Yeah.
Going to break that down
We'll
coming up. Jerry and Jorgie are here. Game day eve. Pac-12 Championship eve on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers end December 5th. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers end December 5th. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Popcorn, game day eve. That's great.
Hot dogs.
Feels right. Ducks, Huskies. I can't wait for this. So we were just discussing biggest Pac-12 games since when? Well, the numbers tell you for Oregon, it's the biggest Pac-12 championship game in terms of rankings since the 2014 year where Oregon took on Arizona. Ducks were 2, Arizona was 7, if memory serves. There was also a game previously regular season where Oregon and Stanford, I think the combined ranking between the two of them was 7. Well, in this case, the combined ranking between the two will be 8. Stanford was 5, Oregon was 2, and we won't talk about the final score of that game. But there have been some big ones. And the thing is, you were saying like biggest Pac-12 game, and I want to point something out that Jerry was talking about, just Oregon. Well, the fact is that Oregon's been in most of like the biggest Pac-12 games that have ever been played. But that's some of the history of just what this ranked matchup means. But the fact that it's number 3 versus number 5, I mean, look, is this essentially a playoff quarterfinal? Yeah, I think it is.
Feels like it.
Yeah, if you're going to use rankings as a way to rank the most important, biggest Pac-12 Oregon games, what they're involved with, that's easy to do because you can just look at the numbers and say, well, that makes it the biggest. But for me, I go back through the years and I think of the moments and the games that got Oregon to a particular level.
Right.
In 1994, when they beat Oregon State in Corvallis to get to go to the Rose Bowl for the first time in forever. That was as big a moment to me as tomorrow's game is in Las Vegas. Beating Oregon State up there again, going to the very first national championship game. Never forget that. That was about as big a moment as you can have. So for me, Jorgie, it's not just the rankings to make it big. It's for Oregon what games they were in and what moments they led to, how important they were.
Yeah, those are some of them right there. There's no doubt. I mean, it's Oregon's been in some big games, and whether it be against their rivals, maybe one ranked and one unranked, but what you're trying to achieve at that time, which is what it was in '94, is hadn't been to a Rose Bowl forever. Got to get to the Rose Bowl. Got to get to the Rose Bowl. And it's exactly what they did against an unranked Oregon State team that put up a great fight. This one, obviously a little different when you've got 2 top 5 teams going at each other in this series between Oregon and Washington. And you could have said the one earlier in the season might have been the biggest, potentially. But this is the biggest between these two teams. And what it means and what you have to do and what the reward is, at least the first step of the reward if you win this game, is in the playoffs. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed for Oregon, obviously, but Washington's in. They're undefeated, and there's a good chance Oregon would be too. So there's a ton on the line with this game. And from a Pac-12 standpoint, easily the biggest Pac-12 championship game. I mean, hands down. It is, and maybe one of the biggest games in the history of the league, going all the way back, of which I can't vouch for the 60s, 70s, 80s and that type of deal because I don't remember all those games, but it's equally up there.
I hear you, and my point was to just say, like, from a historical context, like record book wise.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you, Jerry, that from a meaning standpoint, this is it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, conference championship on the line. It's against a rival. It's a rematch. Like, I hate to make this comparison because there are so many bars that are set, I think, unfortunately, by the SEC. But this feels like Georgia and Alabama, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When they have these rematches, and that's what it feels like to me. And I can imagine that that's how Bama and Georgia fans are feeling. But this rivalry, and we're going to talk with Tony Castricone coming up. He has the same thought. I'll tell you. We actually talked to Tony earlier, and we're going to play it for you coming up on the show, the voice of the Huskies. And Tony and I had this conversation. Like, hey, this is the biggest since who knows? And the fact that it's a rivalry game between 2 hated rivals.
Yeah, 2 teams that don't like each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about.
And years from now, we'll look back, or fans will look back, and the media will look back and go, remember in Las Vegas when Oregon and Washington played? Can't remember who won. I think it was them or them. But remember, it was the very last ever Pac-12 game.
Right.
It was the last Pac-12 game. That still has just grabs at you.
No doubt. And I think that adds to the history. I mean, look, I said this all year long that, I'm excited for Oregon's future, but as a Pac-12 West Coast fan, it is sad for me just on a personal level. That being said, how exciting would it be to have that final Pac-12 trophy sitting in the trophy case at the HTC?
All time, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
I'm with you.
Not going to be easy.
It's going to be
a
tough.
battle.
It's an undefeated team.
They're good.
At the end of the day, and I've said this to a ton of people I've talked to this week, whether it's people up in the state of Washington or around here, is they're undefeated. I mean, and regardless of how close the games were or anything else that goes with it versus Oregon's margin of victory over the last 5 or 6, win the game. That's what you're going for. I don't care if it's by a field goal on the last play of the game or however it might happen. Win the game. And it's exactly what Washington has done each and every week. And sometimes that makes a team pretty stinking tough.
I agree with that.
When they figure out a way to win games. And
the analytics might catch up with you eventually, but when you can keep beating the analytics, there's confidence there.
Yep.
That's what I've felt.
2 Heisman Award candidates, 2 Biletnikoff Award candidates.
2 really good teams.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just so
filled
loaded
with
with
All-Americans.
talent. Loaded with talent.
That's the way it should be.
Loaded with talent.
I'm with you. Final keys to the game. Jerry, what do you think?
Well, don't beat yourself. I mean, I've said that all season long. Oregon is good enough that no matter who they play, if they don't make mistakes, if they don't beat themselves with mistakes, they have an excellent chance to win the game. And I'm going to stand on that. Play a clean game. Don't beat yourself. Don't want a lot of pre-snap penalties. Don't want to turn the ball over. Don't beat yourself.
Jorgie?
Score first.
Yeah. That would be nice. Pressure. Huh?
Score first.
I'm disappointed.
I'm not going to say run the ball because
that's why I'm disappointed.
That's an automatic. I'll say that tomorrow in the pregame.
Yeah.
Score first.
All right. By the way, that pregame show, 3 o'clock, we've got a number of great interviews. Dante Manning coming off that big interception. Troy Franklin, record-breaking wide receiver, might win the Biletnikoff this year. Also, Wilson Love, strength and conditioning coach for the Oregon football team. I talked with him earlier, and then, of course, Dan Lanning talking with Jerry. This week in Duck football history, the 2014 championship game against Arizona.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's, I mean, there's so many similarities that we'll talk about a little bit more on the pregame. There's a lot of similarities. That's going to be the Throwback Thursday that you'll see on Oregon football social media if it isn't out already, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Yeah. For me, I think that it's the obvious of you got to get after Michael Penix. I think you contain him. And then I think making that clock shorter. Don't let those deep routes develop. I think that's a big key for me. If he has time, the Ducks have said it this week. He can make plays happen. I think that's an obvious one, and I agree with Jerry. If you play Oregon football, I mean, look at the way Oregon has controlled games this year. You know, the Ducks have only been within 1 possession of 2 teams. 1 on the road against Texas Tech, Ducks won the game. 1 on the road against Washington, Ducks didn't win the game. Otherwise, haven't been a lot of close ones. Ducks have pulled away. So, to me, I think score first, and then if you can extend a little, Ducks will feel pretty comfortable with that. Good stuff. Jorgie, Jerry, I've been told that I can no longer refer to myself as Joey in the comment section, and I will. Nope, can't do it. can't do it. I'm Joey Mack, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen. These guys are getting ready to head to the airport, and when we come back, Tony Castricone, voice of the Huskies, a little scouting report from behind enemy lines.
Okay. Jogie, we'll see you at the airport.
Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain.
Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Mackenzie Willamette bringing you our Pac-12 Championship preview. Your community hospital since 1955. Caring for our community is what we do best. Earlier this week, I talked with the voice of the Huskies, Tony Castricone. A view from the Washington side of this matchup to preview tomorrow's Pac-12 Championship game. 5 o'clock kickoff. Voice of the Huskies, Tony Castricone, with us. Okay, when we did this the first time, I had a feeling that it wouldn't be the last time, not just because both Oregon and Washington are continuing to play games, and now since we've talked, we know that it's always going to be Thanksgiving weekend that the Ducks and the Dogs are going to meet moving forward, but we get the rematch that at least Duck fans have all been waiting for. I don't know if Washington fans feel that way, but the voice of the Huskies, Tony Castricone, is going to tell us about that and a whole heck of a lot more. What's up, Tony? Good to see you.
Good to see you. In some ways, I don't want the rematch. In other ways, I really do. Only the part of me that, and this might sound like, oh, of course you feel like that because of the position you're in. Now, like I've one of the things I've always loved about college football is how important the regular season is. I hate rematches in college football unless it's for a national championship. I kind of just feel like they shouldn't happen. Because it takes away from what occurred in the regular season, which means more than any other sport. So
I hear it.
So there's that part. And then the part of me that wants to be a part of experiencing unforgettable moments and the absolute best football games and environments you possibly can knows that this matchup is beyond. This is an ultimate college football matchup.
Yep.
Early in my career, when I was at in Columbus, Ohio, and I was doing pregame shows for Ohio State, Ohio State and Michigan met as number 1 and number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said, it can't get bigger than that. And then the day before the game, Bo Schembechler died of a heart attack. And it's like, oh my God, not only can't this game mean any more for what's going on the field, but then there's the human element and the just how much all of this means to both states and both communities around it. And I have nothing contextually to compare what we're about to walk into other than that.
Yeah.
It is a top 5 matchup, the likes of which Washington's only had 3 of ever in school history.
Mm-hmm.
All were bowl games, with national championship implications on the line.
Right.
And so it's that on top of the fact that it's this heated rivalry with the final ever Pac-12 game. There's not going to be another one. And then, we carry forward with the rivalry taking a step to a whole new level with it being a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry in a whole new conference on a national scene moving forward. And I just got to say, Joey, I'm not from the West Coast. I've loved college football nationally my entire life. And I think that as I try to look at this objectively, God knows I can't, but as I try to look at this objectively, I think it would behoove both of us to start really touting this what it is. The best rivalry in college football in the Western United States. There isn't a better one right now. Historically, you could say SC, UCLA. You can say other things, right? Utah, BYU. Historically, I'm talking about right now. This is the best rivalry in college football. It's one that people who love Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, they should all be paying attention to this as this is part of that club. This is part of that elite tier. And now we've got the top 5, top 10 chops to really showcase it. And so the part of me that wants to be part of that whole bigger picture, I'm absolutely thrilled that we are playing this game on Friday.
And scene. Yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm just going to bottle that up and just remind everybody of that because a couple things. One, I think the fact that this matchup, Tony, moving forward will be Thanksgiving weekend, we all call that rivalry weekend, right? Washington was always playing the Apple Cup. Ducks are always playing the Beavs. Well, now that changes a bit because I think that it's unique, really, that programs have more than one rival. Our two fan bases debate all the time who the biggest rival is, and it changes from year to year. Well, this year I think we all agree with the top 5 chops, as you put it, that it's Ducks and Dogs, and so I'm right there with you. Tony Castricone joining us, voice of the Huskies. Now, this game in particular, Tony, what's happened since we met last?
Well, what's happened is Washington has played games decided by 10 or less every single time and won all of them.
Your voice has been very tense throughout many broadcasts.
Oregon has not had a single game decided by 10 or less, with the exception of a USC game they led by 22 going into the fourth quarter. So I think there's no question that everybody's just watching the games is coast to coast looking at this thing saying that, well, Oregon at the eye test level is, playing the better football and they're the better team. And I mean, I'm not going to really argue that based on if we're just talking about who looks more impressive. Yeah, absolutely. Oregon has. I think that there's something to, and maybe Oregon is not at this stage in the building of its program since it's sustained success now for a quarter of a century, and Washington's has been really a century old, but very up and down. And so they're constantly kind of rebooting what they've accomplished in the past and what they want to get back to. And in this reboot, from 4-8 in 2021 to 11-2 in 2022 to now undefeated 12-0. In this reboot, pretty much any time a program is on the build back up, it has to learn how to sustain success again.
Yep.
And I think that is a really hard thing to do. And before you win 12 games a year every year for 5 years, you got to kind of ramp up and understand what it's like to be the hunted. And I don't think that is an easy thing to do. I think Washington's learning how to do that right now. And I'm blown away that they've been able to win them all. I really I cannot believe they've taken shot after shot after shot from all these teams and continued to win them all. Now, does that mean they're living a charmed existence? Does that mean they're not a national championship contender? I'm not going to get into any of that because all I know is Washington can win any game that it gets into, and it can lose any game it gets into. But at this point, there's only up to 3 left. And so one at a time is what they're trying to take it. And they're doing it against an Oregon team that they have objectively already beaten. Right. Now, on their home field, true, but also in Autzen 13 months ago. And so I think they're just feeling really confident. And it's not a false bravado confidence. I think they're feeling very confident in that they're an entire team and staff rowing in the same direction, doing it with a lot of hard work and a lot of study that's already been put in, and they've been able to check the boxes time and time again. And now they've got a 19-game winning streak, which, Joey, not a lot of Oregon has never had a 19-game winning streak. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, right? I mean, and that's not to talk about Oregon because a lot of programs have never had a 19-game winning streak.
Right.
And so that is where Washington just, yes, has not been as impressive as Oregon, but is also very confident. And I think deservedly in the top 4 at this point, given the schedule they've gone against, which you know because you've gone against a very similar schedule, has not been a cakewalk this year.
So that's the point that we were just making beforehand when Jerry and Jorgie were here. And that's Tony Castricone, voice of the Huskies, talking with us. We actually talked earlier this week, have it for you here today. And look, they are confident because they've won a lot of those close games. The analytics, metrics, whatever, they're 12-0. Let's make them 12-1. When we come back, continuing our conversation with the voice of the Dogs on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers end December 5th. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers end December 5th. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Part 2 of our conversation as we go behind enemy lines in the Great Purple North. Chatting with Tony Castricone, voice of the Huskies, ahead of the 5 o'clock kickoff. Friday Night Lights, 3 o'clock pregame show for us. I don't know when Tony's pregame show begins, but none of you will be listening to it. So here's our part 2 of our chat with Tony Castricone. 12 was good this year. Sure was. Yeah, that's why it's going to be fun to have that last one be a top 5 battle between Oregon and Washington. Tony Castricone with us. I think that this has all of the poetry that we can sit and talk about like we have, but the poetry starts with the conductor, and you could say the head coach is the conductor. I think the conductor is the quarterback on both sides. Penix, Nix, round 2, round 3. This feels like a heavyweight title bout to me between two quarterbacks. I love that for this rivalry.
Yeah, it does, and I think ironically, it might be the team that runs the ball better and can control the game better.
I agree.
That ends up winning the football game. And I think what has been a huge development for Washington since these teams last met was the emergence of Dylan Johnson as a 20 carry back who can really shoulder the load and establish a solid running game. And his breakout game was kind of against Oregon, 20 carries for 100 yards. That was his first career 100-yard game. And since, they rode him in the Coliseum to 256 yards, they have ridden him time and time again here down the stretch. And I just think that, we already know Bucky Irving and Jordan James is one of the most dynamic 1-2 combos that there is in college football. So, yes, I agree. I think the quarterback that manages the game better, and I think the quarterback that maybe makes that play in that moment when it absolutely has to be made, that will be the quarterback difference. Because Bo Nix had a better percentage and had more yards than Michael Penix in the first meeting, but he didn't get that 4th and 3 conversion. Michael Penix had the 2-play 53-yard touchdown drive, and that's ultimately the game, right? So I think it's going to come down to a couple of those plays. Turnovers, obviously. The Huskies have not won the turnover battle in either of these 2 games against Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't think they can afford to lose it a third time. And then I think who runs the ball and kind of controls the game a little bit better. And then red zone efficiency, obviously, is going to be enormous as well.
Yeah, points are at a premium. There's no doubt. I touch on a couple more individuals. Like, we're probably going to see 2 All-Americans playing wide receiver in Rome Odunze and Troy Franklin. I think both receiving cores very good. I agree about running the ball. All that being said, it might be the defense that makes a play too. I feel like that's something that when you talk about two prolific offenses, a lot of times in these big games, the defense makes a big play.
Yeah, I think Oregon's defense has been so impressive and has really not given anything up all year long, with the exception of the Washington game. And that's why I kind of found myself, really impressed with Washington and its ability to move the ball against a very good Oregon defense in that first game, even though it was kind of the beginning of this second iteration of Washington's offense, which just hasn't quite been the same as it was the first 4 or 5 games of the season. But I still felt like they were they did well to score 36 points against that quality Oregon D. I think Washington's D has not been as consistent, but it has been really timely.
Yeah.
And the ability to come up with the big interception, it's been mostly interceptions. They've forced a few fumbles as of late. First 7 games of the year, they forced no fumbles. Now they've forced a fumble in each of the last 4 games, and that's been fairly productive, but it's been the interceptions. The addition of Jabbar Muhammad as a lockdown cornerback has been huge. On the other side, they've dealt with the injuries at the safety position, so rotating some other guys in next to Dominique Hampton. And then that other corner position has been huge. I thought Devon Banks was going to be an absolute stud at that position. He went down for a season-ending injury in week 2, and so they've rotated a couple other guys in there. But, I just think that the defense sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when you have 2 offenses as highly touted as this, it can kind of become a little bit of a defensive game. And it's like more of who's not going to make that mistake. And I felt like we kind of saw that in Autzen Stadium in the first half before the fireworks in the second half.
Yeah.
And I thought one of the things that just changed the game in Seattle was those back-to-back 3-and-outs that Oregon forced in the second half. The Huskies were in position to maybe have a chance to run away. They're up 11. They've got it in their own end. Could they put a long drive together and make it a 3-possession game? Well, no, they go back-to-back 3-and-outs, and Oregon capitalizes. So, defensively, I think the defenses are going to have plenty to say about what happens in this game. I think the Huskies feel good that they have rested Tuli Nasanoa and Ulama Oale, their 2 defensive tackles the last couple of weeks. Those are guys that dealt with a little bit of nicks and bruises throughout the season. They didn't play in many snaps against Washington State because they're just not fit for that kind of game with the air raid. I think those guys are run pluggers, and they're going to have, keep an eye on 91 and 68 for Washington's defense to see if they can help limit an explosive Oregon rushing attack with 0 and 20.
Good stuff. I think depth, it's not always the best teams at the end of the year. It's the healthiest teams at the end of the year that win, and depth certainly a big deal. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Ducks and Dogs, round 2 with a conference crown on the line. Tony will have the call on the Washington side of the broadcast. Tony, thanks for the time, as always. You summed up all of the keys to the game. I didn't even have to ask you to boil it down for keys to the game. It's like you've done this once or twice before.
Well, what we haven't talked about, and I feel like, is always a thing, is special teams, right?
That's right.
Like it's an overlooked part of the game, but obviously game 1 came down to a special teams play on the final snap. The Huskies just beat Washington State with a made field goal on the last snap. And the Huskies are one of the best teams in America in punt return defense and kick return defense. So I think special teams would be another huge part, but I'm with you. I just can't wait to kick it off. I can't wait to do this. And this is what college football is all about. It's about rivalries, championships. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we get to, share the experience together, although on different sides.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's this is what it's all about. It's Friday Night Lights in Sin City, and that 5 o'clock kickoff's going to get here pretty darn quick. Tony Castricone, thanks for the time, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Thanks, guys. Go to.
Oh, well, I think he was going to say Ducks. Is that what you all were hearing? Because that's kind of what I was hearing. But anyway, thanks again to Tony Castricone for having some fun with us. It's going to be a great game. Like, this is the biggest game since whenever. But you know what? It's the biggest one because we all know what's on the line, but it's also the next one, as Coach Lanning would say and has said once or twice this week. Quick timeout. When we come back, finishing up the week with a couple interviews, Jackson Powers Johnson, Marcus Harper. Also a look ahead to a bit of men's basketball. Again, the Throwback Cups. Souvenir cups, part of the $2 concession special going on. Tickets as low as $10 for Oregon men's basketball against Michigan. And, again, you're getting a $20 shirt with a $10 ticket. Not a bad deal. Back after this, talking a little football, basketball, volleyball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Game Day Eve on Duck Insider. No show tomorrow because we've got a 3 o'clock pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network for the 5 o'clock kickoff. Ducks, Dogs, round 2. The Pac-12 title is on the line. Jackson Powers Johnson, one of the offensive linemen up for the Joe Moore Award, recognizing the best offensive line group. He's also up for the Outland Trophy, which is best interior lineman, both offense and defense. He's one of the last guys standing on that watch list. Jackson Powers Johnson talked with the media this week.
Defense just talked about how getting after Penix, defending Rome, those are the big keys for them. What do you think is the biggest emphasis for the offense right now from last game, the way it went to this one, correcting what went wrong?
I think just starting fast, trying to fire on all cylinders and, don't beat ourselves. And, they have a wonderful defense. They have elite coaches and elite players. And we're just excited to play them, and it's a great opportunity.
Since that last time you played them, you guys have kind of gone in opposite directions. You haven't really been in a close game. They've been in some battles. How do you think you guys are more equipped to handle them this time around and maybe be in a close game despite not being in one here for a while?
I think it's a test to our coaching and our test to our players, really taking the challenge and stepping up. We've had a couple of great games and we've been, having fun. And, they've been doing great too. And, people say, they have only won by a couple points, but it's hard to win in this league. And they played some great teams and have some great opponents. But I think, it's going to be a great game. And, all I can really say is we're going to step out, we're going to have fun, and we're going to come out with 100% effort. So,
for the matchups for you in this game, what is about Tuatele, 99 and 52? What is about those guys at defensive tackle that's a challenge?
They're big guys. They're fast, they're quick. 52, I went against them in high school, so it would be good to go against them again. But, there's really strong guys, and they're sound, and they're, a veteran group. So it's just exciting, another great opportunity.
Trice, you guys limited him the first time around, and ZTF for that matter. Trice has really taken off the last 6 games. What do you see from him that's different that you have to be more cognizant of to help out Josh and Johnny in particular off the edge?
Just me being, communicating, where we're going and when we're going there, and he's had a hell of a year, and he's done a really great job, and hell of a rusher, and just slowing him down in different ways, and I think he's gotten so much quicker off the ball too, and it'll be exciting, and I think our tackles are excited for the challenge as well.
I feel like you guys have ran the football this last half of the season. I know there's a lot that goes into you can make the correct block and running back just doesn't see the hole, but collectively.
So how
well do you feel like you guys ran the ball?
I think it's gone down a little bit, but I also think Big Ten back there slinging the ball around, so it's a balanced attack. I think we always can look for room for improvement, but it's awesome to see that we can get Bucky 1,000 yards, and Jordan James is having a hell of a year too, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, but there's always room for improvement, and I think we're just hungry. So
that Heisman pose you did after his rushing touchdown, was that something that was planned out, or was that a spur in the moment thing from you?
It was planned out by me. Bo didn't know. Bo doesn't really know about that kind of stuff. He blocks all that noise out. But it was funny because I was looking through like Twitter or something late at night, and like the Heisman, someone had like a Bo Heisman meme or whatever. I was like, if he runs in a touchdown or he throws a bong, I'm gonna do the Heisman pose. So when he wins it, that better be the pitcher right there. Just me giving a nice little Heisman. So, but no, I thought it'd be cool, and he deserves it. And I think it'd be a cool celebration, so I did it.
What would it take for him to actually make that pose?
He will never make that pose. I don't think he'll ever make that pose. So I might be wrong, but we'll see. I don't think he will. I think he'll just be pumped up. He's a big double arm flex guy, big weight room guy. So I think we'll just do that. Stick to that.
There's obviously been a lot of debate on Twitter just about Bo versus Daniels, and LSU's coach campaigning for Daniels, and that just kind of the back and forth. What do you see from Bo day in and day out that makes you believe that he is the worthy Heisman choice?
Consistency. I think the hardest thing we can have as a human race is consistency. He's the same in and day out. It doesn't whether we have some hardships, some up and downs. He stays even keel, and I think that, and just, we all can see it on the field. His arm talent, how he runs. But for me, what I get to see off the field, and he makes everybody, better. He makes everybody feel like seen. Whether you're a walk-on, whether you're a star wide receiver, he's gonna treat you the same, and you're all gonna feel like a celebrity knows me, a celebrity likes me. So.
That's a great ringing endorsement from Jackson Powers Johnson. When Bo Nix wins the Heisman, I'm just playing that. Great stuff from his center. All right. Volleyball, good luck in the postseason tonight and tomorrow. Football, 3 o'clock pregame show, 5 o'clock kickoff. Ducks and Dogs, title on the line. See you tomorrow.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade.